There's strength in numbers,
Yeah.
Don't get, you're not going to get everything from the politicians, but the only way you're going to get something is if someone gets in there that will back who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so important.
It is.
Who are you looking at now? Who you?
No,
runs.
no, it's just, that's the way, I believe, because like I said, I learned a lot from the greatest generation.
Yeah.
What they had to go through, the Depression and whatnot. And that's how you get influenced. And the further you get away from that generation, the less their influence is.
Yeah. Oh man.
I know. I get them.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good. I am speechless, so that's good. I've got all my topics covered. Now, yeah, I just love learning more. It's necessary, and
if you find
the ignorance I've had is
if you find somebody to talk to, ask them questions.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, things that really are hurtful towards us.
Yeah.
This is one thing I have noticed, that if people have found out that I was assigned male at birth, some reason all of a sudden they will start misgendering me.
Yeah, someone else said that. Okay.
Why is that? Is there some little nuance in the brain that picks up maybe a little bit of a masculine feature, maybe my voice, maybe my hand's a little bigger, maybe the little distance between my lip is a little long, Is there something inside your brain that just picks these clues up? I don't know.
Well, I'm curious about that as well. Because I mean, for you, I met you at Pride and I knew that you were she. So for me, I've always, when I've thought about you, or you've come up in conversation, say with Kara, you've been a she in my brain. Now Axel, I knew Axel when Axel went by he, and so I had it, and it's really interesting. So I had in my head that when I just needed to meet Axel as she, and that same night after that conversation, I went back to saying he. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what the heck is going on up there. It's frustrating because I'm like, I know what she prefers. I know who she is. But it's really weird. It's weird. And Kaylee had also said the same thing, that, people will meet her as her and then find out that she's transgender and then all of a sudden start mixing up and calling her he. So I'm also fascinated by that as well. Like, what is the brain chemistry there that has?
Yeah, little nuances that they actually read in facial, so that you would recognize female.
Is it the tone of voice? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
I know, because there was, in the beginning with my wife, she misgendered me once, and I jumped on her a little bit harder than I should have. And then I came to the realization, and she said, I'm trying. And it occurred, it's like, okay, yeah, we've been married this many years, here's your get out of jail free card forever, it's, and I usually, if someone misgenders me, I'll let it kind of slide. If they do it a second time, I'll jump right in. Or if it's a stranger, if I first meet them and they do that, boom, right away. Just,
nip it in the butt.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay. But the really hard part for us is that if we're being accepted female and whatnot, and then all of a sudden some friend says, oh yeah, I knew you were transgender. Sometimes it's like a gut punch. It's like, oh, I thought I was passing,
Yeah, I can get that. Yeah. And I've caught myself, and I catch myself every now and then, and even with Kaylee in writing up Kaylee's post, I ran it by her first, because I'm not going to pretend like I know, what is comfortable, or what feels good. And so for me, I had transgender in the title, and she was like, I really just want to be portrayed as a person. I don't want to be labeled as transgender. And so we rewrote it together, in a way, and in a way that was inclusive to who she is. And so I really enjoyed that. And I find that I have a hard time. Initially I was like, this is not going to be a categorization sort of Zoomcast. Like, I'm not going to put labels. And this has been the complete opposite has happened. There's been labels and categories, and I just can't find a way to get around it. So it's been difficult, because part of me is like, I don't want to have to do this. Another part of me is, but I have to do it. And another part of me is, this is really comfortable. Like, labels are comfortable, categories are comfortable. So it's now, how do I want to make this work for us, right?
We want to be, viewed as female.
Yes.
I use transgender female, and now I'm female. It's almost like, it's an evolution from when you start out, and it's kind of like when people come to the support group, they come there, they find some answers, some hang out, some of them get the answers and now can blend into society, and they disappear.
Yeah.
Never to be seen again, which is great. That's what we want.
Yeah.
But I want to be viewed as female. That's who I am, you know? So
you don't want to be viewed as transgender.
Exactly right. And we're also taking back another word in our community, because you have the transgender umbrella, which covers so much that now, and it's a harsher old word, and this is how I am taking it, and some other women I know are doing this, it's not the standard, is we're taking back the word transsexual.
Okay.
And the reason we're taking it back is that you have altered your body chemically or through surgeries to go into the gender that you identify with. Compared to just, I identify, but I'm not taking any hormones or whatnot, So it kind of gives a little more delineation that we've taken another step with this, and then the surgeries, you can talk about those too. There's all sorts of ones, I mean, my friend Mickey often talks about that people are against, paying for it with insurance and whatnot. But would you be against paying for a child that was born with a cleft lip? Right?
Yeah.
It is a deformity.
Yeah.
I know. I saw the eyes, right? So.
Yeah, no, because insurance is loaded. Insurance is a loaded topic. I mean, even just that, I'm clearly, but I mean, for us, we were trying to have kids, and IVF is not covered for us. And actually, we would have to do IUI, I believe, 3 to 4 more times than a heterosexual couple in order for us to potentially get covered for IVF, just because we're a same-sex couple and it's optional.
Yes, I can understand, the fertility issues, because me and my wife had those, but also the insurance stuff. Okay, I want to get, I'm going to get an orectomy. Yeah. Basically, it's like when you're new to your dog.
Okay.
Okay. Now, usually a urologist can do that.
Okay.
Problem being, transgender, a regular urologist will not do it. I actually have to go to one of the, Mount Sinai with their gender, or Montefiore with their gender clinic, or the Robert Woods with their gender clinic. Yeah. I couldn't just have, go over to Newton here and have just any urologist do it, being transgender. See, that's some of the nuances we have to, we run into. Okay, another nuance. You end up in an emergency room. Any of the transgender girls out there, you must tell them that you were assigned male at birth, because your blood work is different. So,
always carrying this with you. You can never.
Yeah, and it bothered me when I had a friend of mine, James, who's a nurse, tell me that, saying, Simone, you have to do this. And it was like, to me, it was like, a gut punch. I said, really? I said, I got my name changed. I got my birth certificate changed. I'm living my life. Really? I had to tell them that, you know?
Yeah.
In New York now, when you fill out your intake forms, it's your gender at birth and gender identity, which upset my friend John that he had to put gender identity on there.
Oh man. Yeah, insurance. Oh, insurance is such a mess. But yeah, it's insane what people want to dictate what's okay and what's not okay, and it's. I hope that changes near in the future.
Quality of life.
Yeah.
I mean, look up online. Look up Chief Beck.
Okay.
Okay, Chief Beck was a Navy SEAL who transitioned. And Chief Beck, and I was following her on her page, and she eventually had facial surgery, feminizing facial surgery. And I remember her writing her first time out afterwards. She said, I went to the mall and I was invisible because now her face
I got goosebumps.
Didn't look, masculine. It looked feminine.
Yeah.
And, surgeries like that are life-saving for us. And even though people say, well, it is life-saving for us, to be able to live your life and not be emotionally abused, Yeah, I mean, it's the whole culture today, from the guy at the top down does not like the transgender community.
No.
At all.
No.
Like I said,
like a whole lot of people.
The fish stinks from the head down. And they really have made it even harder and harder for us, I mean, they're trying to get legislation through that basically, if I'm transgender, they can deny me, on a religious basis. I worry that if I go to a hospital and because I don't have all the parts, even though all my paperwork says, that I could run into some problems, Yeah. And the tide, and everyone thinks, okay, Jersey, we're very, very protected. You're very protected in New York. You're protected in a bunch of really, transgender people, but it can change overnight.
Yeah. Yep. Isn't it? I mean, we've seen things change overnight, and I mean, I imagine have you experienced any sort of violence or anything that made you be afraid?
Okay.
Not that you have to. I hope you don't. But
31 years of doing martial arts, I'm quite confident in my abilities.
Yeah.
But what it does bother me is the people feeling like they can say what they want to me just because they think it's their right to say that. And okay, I had an incident, and it was an older gentleman. I was waiting to go in, and then they called my name, and he looked at me and he announced to the entire room, "That's a man." I go in, go see my doctor, and I go to use the bathroom. Guess who I run into? Him again.
Yeah.
This is like it's like a bad dream. And then I walk out and I see him in line waiting to check out, and there's another couple in front of him, and I see one receptionist open at the end. I think, okay, let me sneak down there, boom, and do this. And I go down there to check in, and she goes, "No, you'll have to go over to that line." And at that point, this guy says, "Oh, that's a man." And then this couple in front, he got really belligerent and calling me names, and he was there with his wife. And this is my thought.
Yeah.
I could have put him in his place, but if I would have said something, I would have demoralized him in front of his wife. And then what would he have to do? He has to now prove his masculinity. So it put me in a bad spot because I had people laughing at me. I just fled the room, went down to the doors and checked out. And it was that day that I decided I need to change my name. And it was just my name that gave me away. And it would worry me every day I went out as this. If my driver's license didn't match up, my documents, it's a constant worry when you're out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know I'm giving you so much information.
No, it's I don't want to sound like I'm taking away from your experience, but I can feel the frustration and the hurt, and even the fear in some instances. I put myself in your shoes, and I would imagine there are some. I mean, so first of all, you black belt, you're good. For me, if I put myself in your shoes, I would not have those skills, and I just feel for you. You shouldn't have to experience that.
Little hint for women.
Yes.
I teach a lot of women's self-defense courses. When you would go to the mall or you'd have that friend and you see that woman walk by and your first thought, and you look at your friend and go, bitch, that's what you're thinking of her as she walks by. That's the attitude you need to have. Especially if you're in, as a woman, you should listen to your intuition.
Yeah.
Because it is right. So if you get those kind of funny feelings, something's not right, have that attitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that will protect you more than anything.
Yeah.
An attitude and listen to your intuition.
Yeah. So I grew up with a very broken family. So I'm
sorry.
More street. That's okay. I wouldn't be who I am today, I think, without how I live my life. So, I have more street smarts. So yeah, I get a little ghetto Melissa comes out when I need to. All of a sudden, the chest puffs out, and it's just like,
yep.
I do what I gotta do.
You know what it is? It's like sometimes everybody has like a favorite scene or lines from the movie.
Yeah.
And mine was always, the captain, the Star Trek 4, and they were going through the wall to go visit God,
Uh-huh.
and Spock's brother was taking the people's pain away, and he wanted to take Kirk's pain away. And Kirk said, I don't want my pain taken away. My pain makes me who I am.
Mm.
And I live by that. Everything I've had to go through makes me who I am now.
Yeah.
Good and the bad. I want my pain so I remember who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. And I look back because I have a great life now, and I'm like, I am spoiled. I need to remember what it was like to live back then, because if I forget, I'm in trouble.
No, it's good. It's good when you find someone that you love.
Yeah.
It makes life easier. I mean, it's not easy being married. I mean, it's work. But you go through life and you grow up together. I could not imagine my life, without my wife. I mean, that's one reason I went slowly with my transition, was so that I hopefully wouldn't lose her. Because there's some people that they go to do their transition. It's like, okay, when you're at the beach, you see that one person go running in, and they don't care how cold or the water is.
Yeah.
That wasn't. I went to the water's edge, put my toe in, and slowly would work my way out.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to lose her. I didn't want to lose a lot that I had. But you do.
Yeah.
You do a lot.
My wife, she definitely, I don't think I would be who I am today without her. She did not take my shit, and I knew I needed that. I knew I needed someone like that. At the same time, I also knew I needed to stand up for myself in certain situations. So there was a nice balance there. And she was married to a man when I met her. So we had a rocky beginning. Was she going to leave him? Was this a real, thing? And then over time, she did. And then we, figured out how to cohabitate, how what I mean? How to live together and grow together. But yeah.
Whether the cap on the toothpaste on or off bothers you, I know.
Yeah.
You got to learn all the nuances.
Comes and goes. It's like it might not bother you one day, but then all of a sudden it bothers you 5 days later. But yeah, no, she's
Exactly.
great. She's my best friend. We have so much fun together. And I think it's just so wonderful when you can wake up and you can look at the person next to you, 8 years down the line and be like, I have so much fun with you. And,
Yeah,
you
it's,
know, I'm
it's,
so
it's
lucky.
yeah, I'm so happy for you, because everyone deserves to be happy and to have love and to be loved.
Yeah,
Everyone deserves that.
sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And you think back, and you're like, wow, the relationships I've had in the past and the person who I was still discovering wasn't yet discovered. And then you look at your life now and it's cool. And there's so much more growth. I'm just so happy that I can look forward to life. There's definitely a point in my life where I wasn't looking forward to anything. So,
Yeah, and as you get older, look, don't get me wrong. I mean, I wish I could have probably transitioned a lot younger, but
yeah,
I wouldn't have had my wife. I wouldn't have had the experiences I had,
yeah,
and as you get older, you want to kind of look at the people younger than you and do stuff for them, like your students,
yeah,
because you want your students to be better than you, to stand on your shoulders, to know more.
yeah,
So if I can help people with their transitions and whatnot, and they can get a leg up on it per se, and do better than I did,
yeah.
it's a wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where they come back in your life and say, "Oh, could you teach me that now?"
Yeah.
That's it's just about I read a book, Way of the Peaceful Warrior, that changed the way I viewed problems and looked at things.
Mm-hmm.
And you should just be a service to others. It's not a hard concept.
Yeah.
you know, Simple concept. Just be nice, be in service to others.
Yeah. Yep. It's practice. It's a practice. Because it's so easy. I found for myself, it's so easy for me to get wrapped up in, you know, my life and what I'm doing and my work and my business and, you know, who cares about anybody else? That everyone else is my competitor. And then it's like, but are they? And then it's something that I've really gotten from this quarantine is just really being able to slow down and enjoy people again and not compete, and be inclusive. And this Zoomcast as well has also been a great.
Oh, it's a wonderful thing you're doing. Your Zoom thing is wonderful. You're a great interviewer. In fact, I told the people up at my center about you, saying, "Oh, you got to watch her." You know, you really one day need to meet my friend who's on the board, Wendy Stewart.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, wonderful. You should look her up on Facebook. Are you on Facebook?
I am. I am, but I'm not like.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, but but if you look up Wendy Stewart, she's oh yeah, she's an icon in New York City. She's
Yeah.
part of our board. Just an absolutely wonderful person.
Oh, there's
She
a.
reminds me, of you.
Does she look like any of these guys?
Well, that means I have to put my glasses on.
I don't even know if you'll be able to see.
No, I don't think so. Nope. I would. I'll have to send you.
Yes. Who knows
Yeah,
if I spelled it right?
I mean, that's what people do when they get older. You kind of try to give back.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Like I said, up there, I mean, I have one friend, Liz, who accepted Simone, accepted me from day one as to who I am. It's like kind of like my first kind of like girlfriend friend, which
Yeah.
is so nice to have.
Yeah.
I have my friend Michelle, who's of the same community I am, and we're best of friends, and that's been the upside of this transition.
Yeah.
That and I'm not unhappy, which I was for years and years and years.
Yeah. And do you feel like the friends that have stuck around are really your true friends?
Oh well, yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
My friend John has. I have a friend, the mummy we called him.
People stick
We had
around.
known each other for years. Yeah, conservative, evangelical Christian. I mean, the total opposite of what I could be.
Yeah.
But we have gone along, and he is stuck by my side with my transition and accepts me without, whatever his beliefs are. I mean, he's told me that I might go to, the other destination than up, but he accepts me for who I am.
Yeah.
It's just.
And it's so wonderful to have that. I have, growing up, I had two best friends, and they're still my best friends to this day. And, coming out to them was really hard for me because I felt like they would feel violated as a woman, and feel like I was a creep, and, having thoughts about them and being in the locker room and sleeping in the same bed, which was not at all. I had no clue I liked women until I met one woman that I was working at a restaurant. I was training. This woman was training me. I walked into the back where the kitchen was, and all of a sudden this girl was talking about me, about how she has dibs on me. And the woman training me was like, Missy, I went by Missy, you're not gay, are you? And I was like, no, but I never thought about it. And then that night I'm having, some dreams and whatnot. My imagination is going wild. And that's when I knew it took a click. Otherwise, spin the bottle, I would just laugh. I would feel uncomfortable. I wasn't attracted to anyone. I didn't even want to play the game. I felt like I was supposed to be with boys, and I was attracted to boys.
Yeah.
But,
you're supposed to live that normal life the way it was set out. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I told them, and they were like, all right, cool. And then one of my friends was upset because I wasn't attracted to her. She was like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're not attracted to me? So it's just it's wonderful to have those people.
Yeah. And it's good to have people that you can go to for advice. My wife has a friend, Linda, she's known for years. And it was funny. First time one of the first parties I went over after I met my wife, walked into the house, and I walked into the den, and there's this guy sitting in the corner, leather jacket, smoking that. And I don't know anybody, so I'm a little nervous. I'm like, okay, well, if a fight or something breaks out, I'm going to hang out with that guy,
Yeah.
Found out that guy was Linda. It didn't come out till years later, but, and we're just best of friends, So she's kind of been a mentor to me, with coming out and, kind of guiding me.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah,
nice. So nice to have those people in your life.
Yeah, what it is you have some bad days, and then you start talking like this, and you realize I'm really blessed.
Yeah, I constantly am so thankful, and I'm not a religious person. I'm kind of spiritual. Like, I think the universe, I believe in energy. I think we attract certain energy, and what we put out is what we bring in, sort of thing. And so I'm very thankful because there's definitely somebody, something out there who has almost put a gold, those Mario Kart stars, like when you get the star and you're like, doot, doot, doot. That's oftentimes how I feel I've survived this life.
Well, I've actually just started going back to church. I found one that's very accepting of the LGBT culture. I go to, it's a Lutheran church, Holy Counselor in Sussex. And in fact, have you ever heard of Jamie Brusoff and Rebecca Brusoff?
No.
Okay, you have to look them up, because Rebecca she's transgender, and she's in like the 7th grade in Vernon. She's known throughout the country. In fact, Marvel Comics just did a hero series, and they did a comic about her.
Awesome.
And her mother's an advocate for her. So once I saw that, and that her husband, Chris, is the pastor of the church, I said, okay, that's the place for me.
Yeah.
And so I was a Catholic, a disgruntled Catholic, and I kind of left the church once they put out the doctrine that we annihilated the concept of transgender people. So I went there, and I've been accepted with open arms, and it's wonderful. Yeah, you should definitely look the two of them up.
I will. Yeah. I mean, we used to go to church when we were younger, and unfortunately my mom had very bad choices in church, and they all tended to be laundering money or like have some sort of insanity happening. So it was interesting. But actually, so my brother came out at the last church I ever went to, and the last church my mom went to, and my brother, so all of us, my brother came out that he was gay, and it on accident. He was going to prom and the car broke down on the way to prom, and he had to tell who his date was, and it was a boy, and my mom caught on, and there was this whole thing. And I used to make fun of him all the time and be like, you're gay, and whatnot. I had no idea. I really didn't know. That was just like what kids were saying when I was young. So finally, one day, my brother's like, I am. And I was like, what? wait, no. And he's like, I am. And this is my boyfriend. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. And that's just how it was. And so it was definitely a little bit of an adjustment because that was my brother. But it wasn't major because I was young. And but my mom was going to counseling in this church, and the counselors were counseling her through it, and in a very loving way and accepting way. The church didn't approve, and the church said that they need to stop counseling my mom the way that they were counseling her, or they needed to leave. And so my mom, I believe they left. I don't remember for sure, but my mom did leave. And even though she still wasn't fully accepting and she was still having a really hard time, she did leave. And that was awesome on her part to not stay in that sort of environment. And that's the last church setting I went to. That just left such a bad experience. And that's not every church. I'm very clear on that. But I feel like it sticks with you, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it can. Like I said, what I get out of church, and even though the one Episcopal priest up in Milford reminds me that God is with you. It's not just at church.
Yeah.
There's just something about the symbolism and just being there and in what you would view a holy place, that it kind of just brings out a little more something inside of me.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of like if you go to, if I visited one of the great dojos in Japan, it's almost like a sanctuary. It's a sacred place. And that's what the church, and I derive that from the church, and I enjoy getting that. I don't really get involved with it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that accept me there, and there's people, that don't, and that's fine,
Yeah. And there's definitely a strange joy that you can get in church that I don't really know you can get anywhere else.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Hard to describe.
Yeah. It's like I said, I was brought up Catholic, did the whole confirmation and whatnot. In fact, my name is based on my confirmation name.
Mm-hmm.
My wife actually gave it to me. She suggested it.
Awesome.
So, I was brought up in that whole culture, so, once again, it just gruntled Catholic, there's a whole lot of us.
Yeah.
But you have to find in the right place.
Yeah. And, going back to, you were talking about what it was like going from a man, their male, masculine, world, because it's not just your body, it's your whole experience and your life and whatnot. And we touched on, transgender men. My brother, I really felt for my brother coming out as a guy. He had such a hard time. And I don't think I understood that until later in life. And now when I'm a lot kinder to men, I did so I used to be, what do I want to call, hang on, let me find the word. So I used to be homophobic towards very feminine gay men.
Okay.
I had a hard time. I did not know why. And I did a leadership program. One of the exercises you do is you make eye contact with somebody they partner you up with. You make eye contact with them for I think it's 5 minutes. And you have to watch how you react. are you laughing? Are you fidgeting? Are you looking around? Like, you need to focus and just look at them in the eye, just be with the person that you're with. And so I was partnered up with this feminine gay man. And so I had a hard time at first. The first minute feels like forever. And by the end of it, I was bawling my eyes out because I realized I had no idea what the upset was there. Maybe it's starting to unfold as I talk about these things. And clearly I have some sort of very protective of womanhood, I'm starting to notice.
Yeah.
But I cried. I bawled my eyes out and I apologized to him because I was just so mean to him, and he didn't even know I was mean to him. I was mean to him inside myself. And maybe he did sense it. I'm not sure. He never said anything, but I apologized to him, and I just realized he's just a person. And I just had this idea that he was so fake and he had to talk this way and whatnot, and whatever I made up about it. And I just feel for men in particular. And it's especially since men are raised to be a certain way, to be strong, to be tough. And I put those things on my brother as well. And I'm like, I'm stronger than my brother. I'm the tough one, So I really feel for him. I do. And he's happy. He's happy. He's loved. My family loves him. I love him. We've grown. We've discovered ourselves, But I look back and I'm like, he did not have it easy in school. And he didn't have it easy in life. And especially when he was discovering who he wanted to be with, he dated some horrible people. And I don't really think he had many people there for support. He didn't have me. That's for sure, because I was tough on him, and not in a good way. I think I thought it was a good way, but it wasn't at all. But yeah.
Women are tough. Like I said, my mother, her husband died when, I was 14. There was five children at home.
Yeah.
And she had to help, raise them and, do what she had to, and it was hard. I mean, she instilled a toughness in me, because I never really got to know my father at all. He was always working, but she instilled, even though she would instill the toughness, but she wasn't as tough to follow through.
Yeah.
Her bark was, worse than her bite, but she instilled that and into my sisters, Yeah. I mean, my wife that I married, that was the one thing. I call her Grizzle. She is the toughest woman I have ever met. Mentally, I've never met anyone tougher, And women are tougher than men, believe me. I was over there. I got to watch it, work with them, hear them cry, hear them whine, and women don't give themselves enough credit.
Yeah.
But men will stick together where women don't. Men will stick together for the sake of being men.
Yeah.
Women don't. And I think if women would start to kind of overlook a little stuff and do that,
yep,
you'll rule the world. Without a doubt.
It's funny, going back to Kaylee, said, she missed her childhood as a woman. And I was like, you didn't miss much. Women are cruel. We're so cruel. But, I got she missed her childhood. I take advantage, I take for granted my childhood, and girls were cruel. I did not enjoy some of it. But if we did stick together, we would run the world.
You would?
Sure. All of us.
You would,
All of us would.
I don't miss not having had the childhood female.
Okay.
Because, I wouldn't have had my wife then. I wouldn't have had all the experiences.
Yeah.
If I could have transitioned at a young age, and I never would have met her, and she would never had to feel some of the pain that went along with this.
Yeah.
But, everything I've done has brought me to this point. Everything I've learned, all the lessons I've learned, all the mentors I've had, has brought me to this point to help others.
Yeah.
And that's all I want to do is I just want to help the transgender community. I want to try to have people try to understand, you know,
Yeah.
accept us for who we are.
Yeah.
I will, like I've said to you before, and you can reach to me after this, any question, anytime, and I will answer it. Because I don't want, like that Rebecca Brusoff, I don't want Kaylee, I don't even Axel. I don't want them to have to answer questions to people, you know, unless they want to.
Yeah.
Let them live their life, have the life that they deserve to have.
Yeah. And you know, that's part of, you know, something I'm trying to discover is how can I create something to answer these questions for the community.
It comes with age.
Okay. But yeah, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for having this conversation with me, for emailing me, for answering my questions, for being so kind, and for wanting to educate, you know, everyone, not just the transgender community, but cis and everyone.
I just want to say thank you because I've learned a lot just listening to you interview people, and I hope people have gotten something from this. And thank you for what you're doing. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.